Hello, welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to talk about applying yoga therapy to your micro business as a highly sensitive person in midlife. If that sounds interesting to you, then stick around and we'll cover that in this video. Hey, welcome. My name is Mira Binzen and I'm a highly sensitive person. I'm also a yoga therapist and I've been running my own businesses for decades because that's how I want my lifestyle to be. So I've always crafted lifestyle forward businesses, and now I support other people in doing the same. And I was thinking recently that this is yoga therapy for your business. And in order to talk about what that's like, we need to get clear about the difference between typical standard group yoga classes and yoga therapy. So you've probably been to a yoga class at some point in your life. And I love to ask people what they think about their first yoga class. It's one of my favorite questions to ask people. And they almost always say, the teacher talked too much. There's a lot to say about the practice of yoga. There's a lot to say about each and every one of those yoga postures. And there's a lot to be said for letting people experience the practice in silence. And so that's a great example of how group yoga classes, or the analogy here is, common typical business coaching programs aren't really tailored for each individual's way of being, way of approaching things, constitution. So yoga therapy is where the practice is adapted for each individual student. In a group yoga class, the teacher has a preset sequence that she takes everybody in the class through, regardless of where they're at in their yoga practice, regardless of their unique energy type, regardless of their current imbalances or current goals. And so that's what a lot of business coaching out there is like. And I know I've had the experience because I'm a learner and I want to learn everything and I want to make sure I'm doing it right. I've taken a lot of business courses. I've had a lot of business coaching. And a lot of times it's not a great fit for me because it's that group exercise type of yoga versus yoga therapy, where the practice is adapted to each individual. So instead of being in a big group coaching program where there's 50, 100, hundreds of people, a small group coaching program where there's 8, 12, or 24 people, and each person is getting their individual needs met based on where they're at in their journey. Another thing, the way yoga therapy is for your business, is that a typical yoga class is just yoga postures. It's one strategy from this palace of riches that is the practice of yoga. And that's typical business advice. One strategy: get on social media, become an influencer. I don't recommend using social media as a business strategy. It's not very effective, but that's another video. With yoga therapy for your business, we're using all the tools. So in yoga therapy, there's yoga postures, there's breathing techniques, there's meditation, there's yoga nidra. Yoga nidra is deep guided relaxation / meditation. It's a wonderful practice that I've been certified to teach and that I apply in my coaching for businesses, for small businesses. So that means being aware of physical sensations in your body. When you talk about putting your offer out there, what are the physical sensations that arise? Because that's really important information. And if we don't hold space for you to take time to feel into your own experience, it's likely that you're going to move into strategies that are misaligned. And that's where burnout comes from. When you're aligned with who you are and what you're offering and who you're offering it for, the details of your packages and how you communicate with your community, you'll never burn out. Your business will energize you. And that's the way your yoga practice should be too. In a group yoga class, you might be like, oh, that really hurt my hips because we were doing all these unintelligent transitions from one pose to another, versus a yoga therapy session where you're like, oh, finally my hips don't ache because we took the time to hold a pose, to feel into it, to stick with a technique until there's a benefit. So I've been thinking about all the different ways that what we're really doing, what I'm doing as a business advisor and mentor, is applying yoga therapy to your micro business. So if you have your own micro business, which means You're not going for $100,000 launches. You're not trying to break 7 figures. You want a lifestyle forward business that certainly covers your expenses and allows extra for investing and fun, because that's an important part of life. Then that's a micro business. If you do want to scale up to 7 figures, as an example, that's going to require a different set of strategies. That's going to require other people working with you, either as employees or assistants or contractors. And it's okay to have that once in a while when you have a micro business, but that's really the distinction, is you're not looking to scale, you're not looking to build like in a traditional entrepreneurial situation where you build a business to sell it. We're building a business to support our lifestyle, typically after we've had a career, we've been successful, typically in a corporate situation, and we're like, no, thank you. And we're looking to do something different. Now, if you're a highly sensitive person, you might have a hard time finding strategies or support that support you. So I said, whenever somebody's taking their first yoga class, I like to ask them, well, how was it? I also like to ask people that when they've had business coaching or business mentoring, how did you like it? And people will say, well, it just wasn't that good of a fit for me. It's easy for us to feel defeated or like we're doing something wrong. I know I have sure had that feeling. Oh, what's wrong with me? This is working for everybody else. Why doesn't it work for me? It's because 80% of the world's population can push through, can put themselves out there without getting burned out or exhausted. Or if they do get burned out or exhausted, they think, well, that's just part of the game. But if you're a highly sensitive person, which is about 20% of the world's population, that's not going to work for you. So a yoga therapy approach to your business means that we're including your whole life. So the yoga therapy that I am trained in works on what is called the Five Kosha model. And that means each individual is made up of 5 layers. Of course, our physical body, that's the one we're all familiar with. And that equates to the physical components of your business, the cash flow, the products and services you offer, and the cash that you get in exchange for that. And that's oftentimes, just like a regular typical yoga class, all the further business coaching goes. But in a yoga therapy approach to your business, we're going to look at the other 4 layers as well. So the first layer is physical. The second layer is the energy body, or the energetics. This includes breath regulation, is a great way to facilitate balance in the energy body. And so when you think about your business, that's like communication and the energy that we have for our business. So taking a nap all of a sudden is a great business strategy from this approach, because it gives you the energy you need to show up for your community, to provide the incredible services that you offer through your business. The third layer is the mind and emotions, the everyday mind. And this is a huge part of business, is mindset. We all have a lifetime of programming, habits, and conditioning. The brain loves to run on habits. It's very energy efficient to do so. Change is hard. Change is scary. And so as we're learning something new, there's going to be a real literal resistance to it. And so the mindset work, the stories we tell ourselves, about our offer, about what our clients have or don't have or don't need or are paying attention to elsewhere or not, is a huge part of having a holistic business. And that means a business that is healing, is nurturing, is energizing. So that's the third layer, the mindset, our everyday thoughts and habits. Then the fourth layer, I love this layer, it's the witness consciousness. It's that more mature part of ourselves that sits back and observes. When you notice, oh, there I am, there's that story in my head again, that's your witness consciousness, the more refined mind. And the truth of it is, there are a lot of adults out there in the world who have never developed this part of themselves, who have no awareness of this capacity to step back and be the observer. They're embroiled in their day-to-day likes and dislikes and la 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 la, whatever. So that was a Sanskrit term. So the witness consciousness, again, this is why taking a walk in the woods is a fabulous business strategy, because while you're walking in the woods, you're getting a broader perspective. You're getting some space between that newsletter article you were writing or that video that you want to create, and you're able to be the observer. There's a beautiful imagery from the Buddhist teachings where you're sitting on the banks of the river and your thoughts are the water that flows. So the thoughts are constantly flowing, and you can be in that river like, oh my goodness, I just need a breath. Or to develop the witness consciousness, you sit on the bank and watch the river flow. So imagine applying that to your business, where you sit on the banks and watch the strategy and the structure of your business flow. So taking these 3-day resets in nature becomes an important business strategy. And then the fifth layer of this 5 Kosha model from yoga therapy is called bliss consciousness. So it's still a layer, it's still a separation from dissolving into the oneness of it all, but it's the closest we get to our own true nature. We've all had an experience of this bliss body, and that is when we're doing something we truly love, when we get lost in the experience. Making love, creating art, being in nature, looking at a baby's face. These are things that just transcend the time-space continuum and allow us to touch in on the truth of who we are. So can you imagine applying that in your business strategy and your business structure, where we are deeply aligned with our truth, where we're living our values, and we're not in this hustle up culture, we're not comparing ourselves to others, we're not diminishing who we are or what we have to offer, because we recognize that every different kind of tree and every different kind of bird, every different kind of animal, and all the insects on earth all have their place. They all belong. We need them. We need those little centipedes. We need the big hawks. We need every different kind of creature and element in the natural world, and we need you. We need your business. We need your unique way of providing the thing that you do, that your experience, your dharma, your purpose for being here. And when you're doing that, it's blissful. You're living in line with your true nature. And so that's what I've been thinking about in regards to yoga therapy for your business. Is not just like, okay, how do we make money? Okay, how can we make more money? Okay, forget about sleep. We've got work to do, which is yoga posture class. Okay, everybody do this pose. Now do the next pose. Now just keep going through these poses. Don't even stop to think about it. Pose, pose, pose. Versus a therapeutic approach for yoga, which is let's rest, let's observe, let's move into a posture and hold it longer. Let's stick with this strategy and make sure it works before we quickly do something else. And let's have like a good lifestyle that goes along with it. So if that sounds good to you, please leave a comment. I would love to hear your perspective on this. Have you ever considered how you can take your business to a yoga therapist and what that might be like? So this is what a lifestyle forward business is all about. This is what a holistic business is all about. We're looking at it in the context of a whole being, not just the physical exchange of money, although of course, just like our physical body, it's important, but it's not all there is to it. Thank you so much for sticking around for this video. If you're interested in this kind of a topic, please let me know any other topics you're interested in. I'd love to have you subscribe to the channel. You can like this video. Comments are fun because people can see what other people are thinking about it. It's a great way to be in community when there's a mainstream that's doing things very differently. And just to know that it's okay to be the way we are and have things go in a way that might not be popular or largely understood, but that are valuable and true for us. So thank you so much for being here. Stick around and I'll see you in the next video.